Our next guest has spent the last 14 years helping others as a licensed clinical social worker with an expertise in gerontology. She is a woman of many talents and wears so many hats, especially within our very own ALS Association family. She's an avid volunteer, a participant. She's a Walk to Defeat ALS champion, an ambassador, and in 2018, she joined the family more permanently and runs our bereavement support group for our very own Greater Chicago chapter. We are so lucky to have her as part of the family and for all the things that she does. So please welcome to the show, Jennifer Beckman.
Hi.
Hi. I love your shirt.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. We love all things sunflower here, if you can't tell. We just love them. We just love them so much.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I'm so happy that you're here. So we have a lot to dive into. First of all, though, let's get to the reason that you're even here. The reason why ALS is so important to you. Your grandpa was diagnosed in the early 90s. You were young. So what was this experience like for you and your whole family? And on top of that, tell us about your grandpa.
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm very excited. Yes, early 90s. I'm going to date myself here. So my grandpa was diagnosed in 1997. So I was 13. Feels like a lifetime ago, but it was unique because I grew up in Central Illinois. I'm in the Chicago suburbs now. I grew up in Central Illinois, very small town. You drive by, you blink, you've missed the entire thing. So he'd had to go to St. Louis which is a 3-hour drive. So I was thinking about our conversation tonight. I don't know why they didn't come to Chicago, so it was a little closer. But they drove to St. Louis, probably the referral came from there, whatever. They drove to St. Louis, 3-hour drive to get a diagnosis, which I'm sure many of you know takes quite a bit of time to get a diagnosis. I remember started having pain in his right hand. It was tight. I remember him kind of like stretching it on the table. And, of course, a very long story short, that led to getting a diagnosis. And my family likes to describe him as ornery. I'm not sure if that word gets used very often anymore, but they would describe it as ornery. He was, I guess, an instigator. He was very kind-hearted, but loved to give people a hard time, lovingly give them a hard time. He was pretty much my world. Another long story short, my parents were very young when they had him on. My mom was 16, so my parents helped raise me, and so he was a huge part of my life. We lived right across the street from them. I was there often, and so having him succumb to this devastating disease was very tough, as a lot of you folks know. A lot of you guys that are tuning in know that it's a very unique disease, very difficult, and yeah, so very tough. But he was an amazing man. So I could go on and on, so stop me.
Okay. I get sucked in though, because I love hearing about this, because I would say the common theme from all of this, what we've come to realize is that it tends to be the most incredible, amazing people that are diagnosed with ALS. And I have my theory on why that is. It's not fair, but I mean, I just love hearing these stories. I love hearing about them, especially when I didn't get the pleasure of getting to know your grandpa. So I love that you guys were close. I love that you had that relationship. And this is why we're here. This is why we're doing this, so that, people don't have to lose their grandparents or their parents or their brothers or sisters or sons and daughters to all of this. This is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
But so as you said, you were young. You were very young when all of this happened. And you sort of were thrust into ALS, seeing it firsthand, which thankfully many people at that age don't have to deal with. And that's how we want it. You weren't so lucky. You had it right there in your face. How do you think that shaped you? Kind of, I feel like it made you grow up a little bit faster. And do you think that played a role in any way, sort of in shaping the person you became now today, or putting you on the path, this trajectory of where your life has taken you?
Yes, absolutely. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist, which is really hard to do in Central Illinois. I mean, that's one thing. But, that was my career goal for many years. And then, as I got older and I realized that marine biology might not be great in a little town in Illinois, I went into psychology, and decided to go to graduate school and become a social worker. So as you mentioned, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And, when you're in social work school, you have to have two different internships. The first internship I did at a psychiatric hospital. And the next one, I decided I want to do something completely opposite of that. And because my grandpa was on hospice, I was pretty young. And as a teenager, you're a little bit into what you're going through, and so I remember a lot of it, but I do distinctly remember him having hospice. And so I decided to do hospice as my second year internship in graduate school, which really then just really changed the trajectory of my career. I knew, if you ask my parents, my mom, she knew I'd probably end up in the helping field, but in the helping profession. But that hospice experience really made me realize that I wanted to work in geriatrics. And so that hospice time led me into geriatric case management, then hospice as my career for a little bit. And I've done a little bit of everything, but it's all been in geriatrics. And so I think that experience with my grandpa really, really paved the way for where I'm at today. And I know we're going to get to this in a little bit, but, and doing the bereavement program, it's all really just come, I would say, along quite nicely. So
Okay. Kind of full circle moment.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like it did. I think there's something really fun about that too, because it's kind of like this is because of your grandpa. So in a way, you're doing this for your grandpa, honoring your grandpa. So he's with you through all of this stuff. He helped lead you to this path of where your life has taken you. I think that's really amazing.
Yes, absolutely. He's played a big role. He was a big role when he was here, and he's still just as big as a role, even though unfortunately he's gone. So
I know that he's watching the show, and I think he's going to be laughing his butt off by the end of this episode. I just feel like he's going to be loving all the things that are going to be happening tonight, right here.
Oh yes, it's going to get quite interesting. So everybody has to stay the entire time, because I can't ruin the surprise. It's definitely going to get real interesting.
Yeah, you know what? We're having fun with this tonight. We're having fun. Okay, so speaking of this journey, this whole full circle moment. So thanks to your grandpa, you found this new passion in geriatrics and helping people, which actually, since I've known you, I just can't even imagine you in any other field, honestly. You are meant to do something that impacts people. That's just who you are, and that's what you live and breathe. So to me, it makes complete sense that you found yourself here. But specifically, with that and in working in the geriatrics field, how did you find your way then to the ALS Association?
That's a great story too. So as I mentioned, I was Central Illinois. My grandpa passed in 2002, so actually a few weeks short of my 18th birthday. A few years later, I believe I need to give credit to my mom, who found the Peoria Walk to Defeat ALS, so 2006. This was long before also Greater Chicago chapter had the territory. I'm assuming she found it online. We ended up going to that walk. We had a great time. We all had matching shirts. The whole family went. And then I think it was that. So this must have been like summer 2006-ish. I then moved up to Aurora to go to grad school, like I had mentioned. And then somehow, I don't remember exactly. I was trying to think. I don't remember exactly, but I'm assuming I probably just looked it up somewhere closer to here. And the ALS Association Greater Chicago chapter has been stuck with me since 2007. So we have been walking since 2007. I have not missed a walk since then. Okay, technically
It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
Okay. Well, I feel like I would have like a disclaimer. So I have not missed a walk except for 2013. I was on bed rest. I was pregnant on bed rest, so I couldn't be there. If the doctor would have given me permission to go in a wheelchair, I would have, but they wouldn't. But I sent my husband. My husband, everything that I talk about that I've done, my husband's been right by my side. So I sent my husband. He volunteered at the walk. Actually, that year was also my biggest fundraising year. I ran two fundraisers. One of them, I don't think I mentioned this to you before. I ran, I was able to go to the one I had in Lombard. It was at a pizza place. So I had
Okay.
to sit, which I didn't like, but I got to go. The next one I had in Central Illinois, my hometown, it was a vendor event. It was a pretty big deal. My husband did blink an eye. He ran the whole thing. So he did everything and then volunteer. I'm like, so like we have one of us has to be there. It just we have to do it. So he was there. I have all the titles. I have the ambassador title, but I feel like John is probably he's earned an ambassador title, even though he doesn't
Oh,
officially have one. But he's been with me every step of the way. My family has joined when they could. But my husband and I have been there. We had a dog that came to a couple when the walk was in the city, and the one that it rained, I remember very distinctly. There's a little ALS Association bandana on. He's like, "What? It's raining."
oh,
So we grew our team by reproducing. So our children, our children are now part of our team. And they
I
have
love
not
it.
missed.
I'm sure
Yeah,
that's the only reason you had kids, right? This is why you
exactly,
had them, so that you could grow the
exactly,
walk team and help the chapter. Yes.
exactly. We had to make Papa's All Stars bigger, so we reproduced. So I guess that technically Ryan, my oldest, has been walking since 2014 because he was born in 2013. That's the one I missed. And then my daughter Madeline's been walking since 2015. So, uh, yeah, so I've done a little bit of everything. I've volunteered. I'm now an ambassador as of 2015. I've done the committees. I've talked at what was called the kickoffs. I'm there whenever Alsa needs me. Is basically what I am. Whatever they need.
I love it. I mean, you're there all the time, which I think is so awesome. This is what I mean. I think this is what I love about this because there are so many great causes in the world. There are so many different organizations. I have never met a group like the ALS Association's Greater Chicago chapter because everybody from staff to volunteers to people that just, interact with us, those that donate, they are the most incredible people. And they like you, Jennifer, you live and breathe this also. How I was saying Sam does. I mean, you're at every event. Everything you do is spreading awareness, telling people about the chapter, wearing your gear out there, just walking up to strangers, letting them know, hey, this is what we do. This is why we're doing it. I mean, this fight to find a cure. This isn't just something that we talk about. Everybody here sort of, I don't even know what expression I would use, but live and breathe it, put your money where your mouth is, however you want to say that. You're doing
Yeah.
all the work to make this happen.
Yes, absolutely. I think Julie, the president, likes to say, we're in the trenches. We're in the trenches
Mhm.
and we're going to find a cure to end this for sure.
Yeah, we will. There's no doubt. I have no doubt in my mind. We will. It's just when, but we will.
Yes.
We're getting closer
Yes.
every day. And guys, this is another great moment to mention that all of your help helps get us there faster. So making these donations makes a huge difference. Volunteering your time, coming out and helping us set things up, helping spread the word, all of that makes a difference. And Sam will throw the link up in the comment because we always have our Tiltify campaign going on through the show. So if you are inspired, if you do feel like you want to be a part of this and you want to help us put an end to this, you can do that. Again, either through your time, any treasures you want to give, or through physical donations that help us provide all of these things to those with ALS for free. The link will go up so you can donate to our Tiltify campaign. Any dollar amount is helpful, and all the money goes to the chapter. And again, all of the services we provide to people are completely free, and we do that because of you guys. So
Yeah.
sorry, quick little plug there, not trying to get off topic, but
Okay.
it's so important. Okay, so back to the topic at hand though, Jennifer. You were saying you really do it all. So you do it all within the chapter. Oh goodness. Oh, did she just kick herself out? Jennifer. Jennifer. We'll get her back. Don't worry. Sam will be on it. I got this. We'll get her back. I'm gonna brag on her for a hot second because she really does do it all. Here she is.
Sorry, difficulties.
You're getting just so excited that you just kicked yourself off. I feel like
I did. I got really excited. Sorry. Okay. I'm back. I'm here.
I love
I'm
that's okay. Yes, this is why we have Sam. Sam's the pro. She'll do all that for you. But so I was just going to brag on you for a second. As we said, you really do it all. You have done everything within the chapter. So you're a perfect person to talk about this because what keeps you coming back? What keeps you coming back for more since you've got a, peek behind the curtain, so to say, all the ins and outs of this. Why do you keep coming back and why is it so important for you to come back and to spread awareness for ALS?
Yeah. Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that the ALSA, the staff at ALSA, everyone associated with ALSA is family. I've been doing this for so long. This is just something that I do. My family does it. There are a lot of people in my life, aside from my family, that have never met my grandpa, don't know who he is, but know that I do this. They know that this is what I do. It's important to me. And I'm here, of course, to help find a cure and to do all the things, but doing this every year and through the year is how I honor my grandpa, and it's how I get to talk about him. Otherwise, it doesn't really come up in conversation, right? So I get to talk about him. I get to make sure his memory is kept alive, and I think this is the best way that I can spend my time to honor him. And I just hope that he's up there and proud of me. So, yeah.
I have no doubt. I have absolutely no doubt. I not only is he proud of you, but I guarantee he's up there bragging on you too. He's telling everybody you've got all kinds of angels looking down on you because he's up there bragging about all the great things that you're doing down here. And speaking of some really great things, we've got some amazing comments that have been popping up. So Donna Clax is saying that you are such delight, and she just loves the whole Also Chicago chapter, that everyone's been a blessing. And that is so true. I couldn't say it better myself. They really are such a blessing. So, okay, keeping on this whole bazillion hats that you do wear, because not only do you have a billion jobs within the chapter, but then, you're also a kick butt superhuman mother and wife and daughter and all of the things. You do all of them. Like you had mentioned before. So in 2018, you actually joined the chapter in a whole nother role. You took on another hat. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that. What is that?
Yes. Yes. 2018. So I'm sure you've talked about this too, but the ambassador meetings we have twice a year for our kind of like super volunteers. In one of those meetings, the idea for a bereavement support group was born. I don't know. I don't know who I can give credit for that, but an ambassador in one of those meetings had the idea, which is a huge need. And I was reached out to by Julie and Jumana, which is an amazing honor in itself. I was asked to basically start the program, figure out the program, create the program. And so I've been doing that since 2018. So it meets every fourth Wednesday of the month. It's a virtual. We had plans to go in person in 2020, and as we know, that didn't go so well. So yes, every month, anyone that has lost someone to ALS comes and can join my group. It is, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I run it, but I always tell the people that come, it's their group. It's a time for them to connect and share their stories. There's like bereavement support groups that anyone can join all over the country, but this one is unique in the fact that, and as I'm sure you've probably said in this show, ALS is a very unique disease, and so it's a very unique experience for the people that have lost someone to ALS. So it's a chance to share stories and just know that you're not alone. So I've had the pleasure of doing that since, like I said, 2018. It really blew up this year, I think, because people are looking for ways to connect, right? After last year, they need some support. So I am honored. I was so honored to be asked to do that. And another great way that I can give back. Actually, the group meets tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know if Sam, if you've got that handy, you're the producer extraordinaire. If you want to throw a link in there, it meets tomorrow. I didn't think about this till just now, but it meets tomorrow. And so I said fourth Wednesday, but because of the holiday, we're meeting a week early,
Okay.
so we're actually meeting tomorrow. So
Okay. I just love that. I love that this is, first of all, highlight the fact that we have some rock star ambassadors and these meetings do spark some incredible ideas that,
absolutely.
that one idea turned into this. And this is just another amazing service that we offer. Because now that we're offering it, it's kind of like, how did we not have this the whole time? I don't even remember us not having this, but it's huge. What do you think? Not only just this bereavement group, but just the whole chapter in general. Why are they relevant? Why do you think We are so
Oh my
relevant.
God.
What we're doing is so important.
It is so important. I'm not sure everybody realizes how much the ALS Association of Chicago chapter really does. I think adding the bereavement program really just takes everything full circle, right? It's there. Our nurses and social workers are in there with families, kind of virtually, more so virtually nowadays, but getting in there, seeing what the needs are, taking care of our pals, our persons with ALS, doing everything. They are doing all of the things. So it's just so needed. And I know that we talk a lot about research, and yes, research is important, and that's what the walks are for, is to raise money for research, but also, you said this earlier, the funds that we raise help those that are living with ALS, ease some of that burden, because Sam was right. It's $250,000 to take care of someone with ALS. So it is, I think I'm getting off topic, but the ALS Association is just so needed, and our territory is very large. And so there's always a great need, but going back, I think it's full circle, right? We're there with them through all of the steps of the disease. Why wouldn't we be there after? And sometimes we're almost needed more after, right? That is really where it gets tough as well. I mean, it's all tough, but all aspects of it.
Oh, that makes so much sense. And like you said, I think the joy you get out of being able to still share your grandpa's story, still talk about him, still keep his memory alive, you're giving that to so many other people and this outlet because you know what they've been through. All of you guys in this support group, you've all been through the same thing. And there is a different connection that happens when you really have been through this journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I love that you're doing this. This is so exciting. And Sam did put the link up there. So if anybody watching is interested in this, if you yourself have lost someone to ALS or you know someone that has, please share that link with them because this is so important to be able to talk about this again in a group of peers that have been through this and have walked in your shoes and know what you're going through. And it's led by the amazing Jennifer, who has a whole background in this. Not only has she experienced it firsthand, but she's been trained in all of these things. So she's there to help you every step of the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was my shameless plug, right? Stuck that in there. So
yeah, I love it. We love well-placed plugs on this show. We love them.